Okay, let's talk critiques of fiscal policy, and then we'll have a couple of other kind of odds and ends that you'll need to know. So critiques of fiscal policy, there are 5 of them. And really, all you really need to know are kind of the keywords. These are all reasons why fiscal policy is not 100% believed in by everybody in the economic community. Okay, so first one is a critique of deficit spending, right? When you use fiscal policy, you're increasing government spending or decreasing taxes, both of which are increasing deficits when we're in a recession. And so a lot of economists are scared of debt. Like, this is a bad thing, right? So you know that a comment is talking about this particular thing when we have the keywords of debt, or they're talking about spending, dramatic spending, increases in spending during a time of a recession, right? So the main critique is that debt is growing. If you ever see anything about debt, that is probably what they're talking about. Okay. Critique number 2 is timing lags. Timing lags are 3 lags, right? So what we're looking at is, hey, Congress is having a difficult time agreeing on something. That's a timing lag. Hey, there's anything that's impacting timing. So how long is this taking to have an effect on our economy, for example? And then any debate on a recession is going to be regarding our timing lag. That one's recognition, right? Recognizing that we're in a recession or that we have inflation. And the idea is, hey, these things take time, right? You're saying it's a quick fix, that it's better than just letting the economy self-correct, the Keynesian mainstream model. But if all these things take time and we don't really know how long, how do we know it's any better than just letting the economy self-correct in the long run? Okay, so critique number 3 is pro-cyclical action. This is when politicians are taking action that makes our recession worse, makes our inflationary gap worse. In other words, our car is slowing down and they're hitting the brakes, making it even worse. Or we're going 120 miles an hour and they're jamming the gas and making us go even faster. This idea that Congress, because they want to get elected, won't always make decisions based on what's best for our economy. Surprise, surprise. So if you see the economy or Congress contracting when we're in a recession, for example. So we're in a recession and Congress has decided to cut government spending and balance the budget, the common one. So if they cut government spending to balance the budget, it's going to result in making our recession even worse because there's less spending than there was before. And then if we have tax cuts when we're in an inflationary gap, right? Our economy is seeing inflation, we're producing beyond capacity. Tax cuts could increase spending even more and cause dangerous increases in inflation. This is just politicians being dummies, basically. A critique number 4 is whenever the government spends money, discretionary fiscal policy, or deficit spending, government spending money that they don't have, and it prevents individuals or businesses from spending, right? So our example was when the government makes a library, people in that community are less likely to buy their own books from a bookstore, right? So the government's provisions or spending resulted in a decrease in consumer spending. And the one that's much more common is the government spends money, but businesses don't invest. We'll spend more time on that in another unit. Then the net export effect. The key word here is whenever we have foreign purchases decreasing because of inflation. Whenever we have expansionary fiscal policy, aggregate demand is moving to the right, it's pushing up that price level on our Y to the sky axis. So inflation's going up. When that happens, the goods we send to other nations look more expensive and they buy fewer of our goods. So we increase government spending, but our net exports over here are going down. And so they're offsetting one another, according to this critique. So just look for inflation or price level rising, and that's going to be a keyword that we're probably talking about, the net export effect here. Okay, we're going to wrap it up with other concepts. These are things you have one question on that are kind of out in left field. So the first one's autonomous consumption. Remember, when we have a disposable income of 0, when you make no money, you still buy things, and our nation still buys things, right? Because we need food and we need shelter and we need utilities. We need to keep the house warm, right? These things we still have to spend on. We call that autonomous consumption. And so when we're spending money that we don't have, or when our consumption gone beyond our disposable income, we have dis savings on our hands. You call it debt, economists call it dis savings. Keep that in mind. Final thing is, remember, disposable income is our gross income, or the money you would make, minus the taxes that you pay. So if I make $100 and the taxes are 30%, then 30 of those dollars are going to go to Uncle Sam. So my disposable income is going to be 70. I had 100, 30 went to the government, 70 stays with me, and that's disposable income. That's important because one of our equations, MPC, MPS, deals with disposable income. And you might have a question where it says disposable income is this, tax rate is this, what is our MPC? And you'll have to calculate, okay, my gross income was this, I need to subtract that taxation percentage away from that. That means I'm only going to have X amount of dollars as my actual disposable income. And then I use that to calculate my MPC or my MPS. Okay, so a little bit more complicated, but think it through and you should be able to get that one as long as you remember disposable income is gross income minus taxes every single time. Finally, bonus round. What will your FRQs be? I'm looking at them over here on my other screen right now, pulling them up, scrolling down. Okay, so you're going to be given a chart, and that chart is going to have consumption on it and disposable income. You're going to have to find change in consumption, change in disposable income, MPC, MPS, and find the multiplier, and then if there was a change in spending, figure out how much of a multiplied impact that will have on GDP. Okay? And then you will have one that you have to deal with taxes. So you have to find the multiplier, figure out how much of a tax change would have to close a gap. The good news is just by finding MPC, you get points. Find MPS, points. Find your multiplier, points. Find your change in the impact on GDP, points, right? So there are many ways to gain points on the FRQ. All right, I hope that was helpful. Good luck on the test.